What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Empires 4 action. Going to come at you again with another French build order, this time for the water. Now, French, in my opinion, is probably the strongest of the Navy civilizations here. A big reason for that is the Hulk. Now, the first thing you want to do when you launch into a map like Boulder Bay with France is to get all your villagers onto wood. This might seem weird, but it's going to work out. You're going to be able to afford constant villager production so long as the villagers popping out of your town center immediately come over onto your sheep. This villager that's building the lumber camp, I want this villager to come over and build me a dock straight after this. If you do it this way, you should be able to get the lumber camp up before these villagers finish chopping their wood. By the time you get to the shore, you're going to be able to get that dock up. So we got that sorted. We're going to chuck our dock up. Now, basically, you want to make sure you find where the deep sea fish are. It's vitally important. Immediately throw down your house as soon as you can afford it. Otherwise, you will get housed. If you start your house like a couple of seconds after you hit 10 population with France, you're going to get housed. So make sure you chuck that one down just a little bit before. The villager that came over onto the dock is going to be jumping onto the shore fish here. That way we're reducing some walking time. It's going to be all good. And we're just scanning around looking for our goats. It's going to be fine. Now, the dock is up and we do have a deep water fishing spot here. So we're going to start getting on that. Once we have 6 villagers on the wood, going to start getting ourselves 2 villagers onto gold. And you can see that we basically just have a tiny bit of idle time there. That's possibly on me because I didn't do it quite right, but a little bit of idle time, not the worst. Got to be a little bit more efficient here with this build. This is a very tight build order, but it's going to be totally fine. I'm going to just dump these villagers in here, and we'll be fine. As soon as this fishing ship decides to drop off a load, we'll be okay. Now, once we get 2 villagers onto the gold mine here, I'm going to start putting the villagers back over onto food in an attempt to advance to the next age. Just keep on dumping these villagers until this fishing ship decides it wants to drop off some food, and by then we should be okay. And it's very, very simple. We're going to be going through the landmark that gets ourselves a market, and that'll make sense. Basically, this is all going to be about selling off that excess food you have in order to keep producing Hulks. Now, Hulks are the most expensive ship available to any of the civilizations in the Second Age, but it's also the most brutally strong ship. So I'm going to grab ourselves the house here as well. Make sure I can't click. Make sure that's happening. 1 more fishing ship or 2 more fishing ships. And we'll be gold in here. And you can see how much better the economy is looking now that things are going. You don't want to take these villages off gold once you hit 200, so don't worry about that. Essentially, everything's set up now, and you basically just need to work out when you need to force drop these fishing ships just to make sure you advance as fast as you possibly can. So we'll just take a guess about that. These fishing ships all carry up to 40 food in them, so you do have a lot more food than you think. And it's looking like I could probably force dump just a little bit after this 5th fishing ship is out. Maybe 1 more villager, and these villagers have got a ton of food in them as well. So we can do a little force drop after this villager is finished here. And we'll be right. So what do we have? 8 villagers on food. So when that 9th villager comes out onto food, we'll do a quick dump of both of these guys. Boom, boom. And we should be able to afford our landmark here. We're going to put 4 villagers onto the landmark. That's it. 4 villagers. Everything else is going to come over onto the wood. And we're going to start putting some villagers over onto gold. You have enough food? You do. All right, great. We're going to build ourselves a house. Now we take 2 villagers from the landmark, shift click onto the gold mine. 2 villagers, shift click onto the wood line over here. We're going to have to drop some fish off here. It is a very tight build order, so you do have to keep note of how much food you have. And you can see that if you just force drop a couple of them, you're going to be completely fine. I'm going to throw up another dock here. And now we're going to just put villagers over onto wood. Now, I've only got 4 villagers. It's going to be 6, but I've only got 4 villagers on gold. And the reason for that is that I'm going to be able to sell my food for gold. And I'm not going to worry about too many villagers on gold right now. I am going to need a lot more villagers on wood because I need 300 wood to build these hulks. So all my villagers basically now coming over onto wood. I might even throw up another lumber camp here. This is kind of always worth it. Look at all of the resource lost time it takes to build this. And especially with France with only 25 wood for a lumber camp. Kind of no reason not to do that there. And we see our dock coming up. I'm going to pop this villager over onto wood now. And as soon as we hit this next age, there's going to be 2 upgrades I want to grab. Well, there's going to be 1 upgrade I want to grab, and there's going to be the Hulk I want to grab straight away. So you can see we're getting up at about 515 here. 515 or 520, about there. Totally fine. We're going to sell ourselves that initial stone, buy ourselves a Hulk. We also need to sell, sorry, not stone, food. We also need to sell another lot in order to get additional sales. Now, these 2 upgrades are super important. Sorry, this upgrade is super important because your Hulks are already wrong dock. Your Hulks are already really, really slow. So you want to get that speed in order to get the extra maneuverability so that you can turn the ships when you're microing them, and that's going to be really, really important here. So now I've got 18 villagers on the wood. I'm going to start putting some villagers over onto gold now because we don't want to trade forever, just for a little bit. And we need to get another villager. I want to get some more. Maybe I could even sell. I think I kind of stuffed this up a little bit, but hey, what can you do? Let's drop these fishing ship off, sell, get this next Hulk out, build a house. And essentially from this point on, it's just villages over to gold. And it's going to be basically villages, houses, Hulks. And you want to play defensive here. These Hulks are beasts. But you want to play defensive until you have enough. They're not going to... You just sit back and the fishing ships can repair the Hulk and you're going to be able to hold on for a little bit. Once you get out 2 or 3, then you're looking at some very, very disgusting amounts of damage in order to just snipe off all the enemy archer ships and everything else. It's going to be totally fine for you. As everything's coming through. We can start thinking about getting our upgrades, but not until we are completely fine here. Fishing ship's going to drop into here so I can sell yet again, get the next Hulk out. And we are essentially in a very, very nice position here. Throw down another house, throw down another lumber camp. And we've got 2 Hulks out by 7 minutes, coming up to 3. These things have 6 armor, 1000 HP, and deal 100 damage every 4 seconds. It's actually 200 damage every 4 seconds because of the micro trick that you will have seen in a different video if you watched it. But basically, we just do this. You just do this, and he just spins around, and he has a good time. And you can see we're starting to be able to afford 2 Hulks at once now, and not having to sell the food anymore. We can start thinking about getting down a stable, and start thinking about getting some knights to get some raiding happening on the land as well while this is all going on. Getting ourselves some upgrades, getting the double bit axe, getting ourselves the specialized picks when we can afford it. And still even sell some more of this food in order to get that upgrade. And at this point, you're in a really, really good position to play the game. You probably defended any sort of navy rush that comes your way very simply with just 1 Hulk, and that's going to be as simple as it is. And I'm going to leave this one here. I'm not going to finish this game off. If you guys enjoy this build order and have some success with it on the ladder, do let me know. Leave in the comments and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.